These are the Virginia geology notes. In Virginia, there are 5 physiographic provinces in Virginia, and you will have to know all of them. And then here's the map that's on your notes. If you take a look at the map, find where we live, and then think about which province we live in. Hopefully you're saying we live right about here, so we live in the coastal plain. And then to the west is the Piedmont. And then the Blue Ridge, getting into where the mountains are. And then the Valley and Ridge, still with the Appalachian Mountains. And then out here is the Appalachian Plateau. It's high up in elevation, but it's a flat area. That's why it's called a plateau. Here are the 5 provinces based on their geologic formations. It's a little bit of a sideways picture. Here's the coastal plain. It's fairly flat. And then we'll find out later it's actually called terraced because there are different levels to it. And then the Piedmont has these faults. The Blue Ridge has been where the mountains got pushed up. And then the Valley and Ridge, because there are valleys and there are ridges. And then here's the Appalachian Plateau, that higher elevation, but it's flat. After looking at the first few slides, how many of the provinces can you name? And then do you know which province we live in? I already kind of gave you a hint a minute ago. There are 5 provinces. Think about the 5 names. And then you do need to take good notes because there's a quick little quiz that I do want you to do at the end of the presentation. Here's a picture of the coastal plain. Maybe some of you can think about what this S-shaped river is. Think about the name. It's called a meander. Hopefully you remember that. The coastal plain runs from the fall line on the west, it goes right through Richmond, to the Atlantic Ocean on the east, and it is a terraced landscape, not terrorist, but terraced. It means stair steps. Like one level and then it goes up and then there's a level and then it goes up and there's a level, like steps, like when you walk up and down stairs. As sea level rose and fell, fossils were left at various layers. So that's why they're stair steps, because sea level has changed. And in these pictures here, it actually shows you the state fossil, which is called Chesapeakton jeffersonius, for the Chesapeake Bay and Thomas Jefferson. Sand, silt, and clay produced by erosion of the Appalachian Mountains covers the plain. We've talked about sand, silt, and clay before, and all of that winds up in our province on the coastal plain from getting eroded above the mountains. And then here's a picture from fairly nearby. It's Chip Oaks Plantation. If you were to go into Surrey, that's where this is right here. And then the fossils that are there, you can actually find those Chesapeakton jeffersonius fossils. All kinds of marine organisms, clams, scallops, shark's teeth, and other hard remains. Because remember, you can only keep the hard parts around for fossils. Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic fossils are found in Virginia. So fossils from right now, that's the Cenozoic. Mesozoic is when the dinosaurs were. And then Paleozoic is way back when all we really had were marine organisms. Hear about the Piedmont. It is an area of rolling hills underlain by ancient igneous and metamorphic rocks, and it is the largest of the provinces. High-quality slate is mined from the area. The Piedmont is the host of the world's largest kyanite mine. If you can see, there's sort of this blue, stringy almost looking stuff, and that's kyanite. The name comes from cyan, which is a type of blue color. And then there's the Blue Ridge, and in the pictures, the mountains sort of look blue. The billion-year-old igneous and metamorphic rocks are the oldest in the state. It's a high ridge separating the Piedmont from the Valley and Ridge province. So, quick little review of what we've done so far. Which province that has already been described is known for having layers of fossils? Should be saying the coastal plain. Which province is the largest? That would be the Piedmont. Which province has the oldest rocks? That would be the Blue Ridge, billion-year-old rocks. And then which province has slate and kyanite mines? That would be the Piedmont. And then these are just the answers that I just told you about. Here's the Valley and Ridge. The Valley and Ridge province is an area of long parallel ridges and valleys underlain by ancient folded and faulted sedimentary rocks. And you can see here, there's a ridge, there's a valley, and a nice city in the valley. Cambrian fossil algal structures are found in the Valley and Ridge province. That's what these little circles here are. They're algal fossils. Remember, Cambrian is a long time ago, quite old. Limestone outcrops are common in the Valley and Ridge province. That's what all this white stuff is. And then think about if we have limestone, what else are we probably going to have? It's known for karst. And remember what karst topography was from this past semester. You're going to get sinkholes, caverns, caves. Karst is an irregular limestone region with sinkholes, underground streams, and caverns. The Valley and Ridge province is famous for its caverns. Can you name one? Maybe Luray Caverns? And then here's the Appalachian Plateau. The plateau is rugged, irregular topography, and it's underlined by ancient, flat-lying sedimentary rocks. The flat-lying sedimentary rocks is what gives you the plateau. And what can you notice in the layers? Taking a look right here and right there. It's actually coal, that dark stuff that we burn. It's a fossil fuel to make heat. Most of Virginia's coal is found in the Appalachian Plateau, and this is a coal outcrop. You see all the little dark layers, and there again, and then there's a karst. You can think about size. It's pretty big. These old sedimentary rocks contain fossils and tons of coal, because if it's sedimentary rock, you're going to have fossils, and then the coal we already talked about. So here's our quick little quiz. Just use the side of your notes or maybe the front side where the map was to go through the questions. Which province is covered by sand, silt, and clay? Which province has Cambrian algal fossils? This province has a terraced landscape. This province contains billion-year-old rocks. Which province is underlain by ancient, flat-lying, sedimentary rocks? This province has rolling hills underlain by ancient rocks. What do we call an irregular limestone region with sinkholes and caverns? Which province is at the most western part of the state? Which province is the largest? Which province is famous for coal? And then here are the answers. First one was coastal plain. Second one was valley and ridge. Third one, coastal plain again. And then the Blue Ridge. Number 5 was the plateau. Number 6 was the Piedmont. Number 7 is karst topography. Number 8 is the plateau. Number 9 is the Piedmont. And number 10 is again the plateau. So I want you to come in and tell me how many you got correct. So please keep track of that number and come in and tell me.